25 years ago, my husband and I arrived in New York so he could pursue his PhD. I was terrified. So many people, such tall buildings, crime, drugs. For the first week, I wouldn't go anywhere by myself. Eventually, I had to go out. I had to look for a job. I decided on Wall Street. We were in New York, and I've always gone after the brass ring secretly. This is not what women in my demographic did. We worked until we got pregnant, and then we stayed home. I majored in music. I'd never set foot in accounting, finance, or any type of business course. So I started as a secretary. By the way, this is not how we dressed. Every day, I'd sit at my desk, across from a bullpen, essentially a locker room, 20-something guys aspiring to become masters of the universe if only they can get the person on the other end of the line to buy 100 shares of waste management stock. It was a tough slog. They'd dial the phone, people would hang up, dial again, hang up. When they finally got someone on the line, testosterone pressure was so intense, they would go for the hard sell. Throw down your pom-poms and get in the game. At first, I was offended because I had been a proud cheerleader in high school. But then I thought, I'm just as smart as these guys. I want in. My husband's PhD is going to take 5 to 7 years. Why earn X if 10X is a possibility? So I got in the game. After 3 hard years and a boss who believed in me, I moved up from secretary to investment banker to equity analyst and eventually co-founded an investment firm with Harvard's Clayton Christensen. 6 months in, I had a job, a little bit more money. My life, though, was not always a scene out of the working girl. One day, I'm at a train, Lincoln Center, right on 66th Street. I've just seen this film. I'm so excited. I'm enthusiastically describing it to some acquaintances, and one woman, about my age, her husband's in school, she's got 2 children, also a music major, says, "You really do need to start having children." This, I think, sums up the conversation nicely. In spite of the occasional shame that I felt, because I wasn't doing what other women like me were doing, during those years, I made a fantastic discovery. I could dream my very own dream, and it could come true. But then I made the wonderfully illogical leap that all women were going through this as if it were a rite of passage. When I took my sabbatical from Wall Street in 2005, I started asking friends and friends of friends, "What's your dream?" And I'd hear, "I don't have a dream," or "I don't know how to do my dream." I also heard the unspoken, "I'm not sure it's my privilege to dream." These were eminently capable women. How could they say this? For the first time, I realized that that comment made to me in Lincoln Center wasn't about me trying to make me feel bad. It was about her, a plaintiff. I don't have permission to dream. I started my blog, Dare to Dream, and began gathering stories of women's dream. I knew it was my privilege, mine and yours, to dream, that dreaming is an imperative, but I needed to build a case, to provide a body of evidence for what I knew to be true. One of my early discoveries was Jungian psychologist Robert Johnson. Our psyche, he says, is made up of both masculine and feminine components. Our capacity for relatedness and love is feminine, while our ability to wield power and control situations is masculine. And to become a complete person, we need to develop both. We must be able to handle power and to love. Here it was, decades of research telling me what I instinctively knew to be true. It was not only my lot in life to be a harbor, but also a ship. I knew it was going to be difficult to get women to buy into this idea. The world is rife with stories of men who can handle power and love, be the ship in the harbor, but there are far fewer of women. Powerful women are often depicted as downright evil. Think, the devil wears Prada. One story I discovered that shows what it means for women to grow up is the ancient myth of Psyche. Psyche is a mortal woman. She wants to find her estranged husband Eros, the son of Aphrodite. Before Aphrodite will reunite them, Psyche must perform 4 tasks, each one requiring her to do more than she feels capable of, all symbolic of the skills needed to handle both love and power. Psyche is paralyzed with fear, but she knows the only way to be with Eros is to proceed. Psyche's first task is to sort a huge jumble of corn, barley, and poppy seeds into separate piles before morning. Impossible given her time frame, until an army of ants comes to the rescue. When Psyche lets the ants, which is symbolic of her masculine component, help her, she's able to sort the seeds. Women are instinctually driven, by love or a desire for strong relationships, to be a safe harbor. But to grow up, we must make choices in uncharted waters. The sorting of seeds represents the masculine trait of setting priorities, the first step on our feminine hero's journey. Next, Aphrodite orders Psyche to get the golden fleece from the aggressive rams of the sun. Impossible, for as Psyche tries this, she will be trampled. But the reeds on the river's edge call and advise her to wait until sundown and the rams disperse. Then she can safely pick the strands of fleece the rams have left behind off the brambles. Getting what she needs without being crushed, Getting what she needs without being crushed is a metaphor for every woman's task of gaining power without losing her innate sense of connectedness and compassion. Task 3. Psyche must fill a flask with water from a raging stream etched into a jagged cliff guarded by dragons. This time Psyche gets help from the eagle of Zeus. The eagle can see what it wants, plunge from the sky, and grab it with its talons. This task is symbolic of learning how to set a goal, avoid the pitfalls, and achieve it. I have certainly needed this inner eagle. In 2006, when Harvard's Clayton Christensen approached me about setting up an investment fund, I said, sure, I can help out a little here and there. Then my husband nudged me. Don't you want to work with someone you admire to invest, to build something? I don't know that I plunged from the sky. It was more like a tentative float and a dainty 2-finger pickup rather than a grab. But in 2007, I co-founded this firm with him. Now, the fourth and final task. Aphrodite orders Psyche to take a hazardous journey through the underworld, or in modern parlance, hell, and fill a box with beauty ointment. Psyche is told she will encounter people who will ask her for things, and she must say no. This task is the most difficult. It cannot be delegated to ants, reeds, or eagles. Psyche alone must say no. As an investor, the nurturer in me wants to say yes to every entrepreneur that walks through the door. And in fact, when someone wants to blog on Dare to Dream, I always say yes, but I'm learning from my male colleagues to negotiate until I say yes. Yes is the word of connection. No is the word of protection. Psyche embarks on her hero's journey to say yes to Eros. Psyche must say no to protect herself and her loved ones. William Ury states, the secret to standing up for yourself and what you need without destroying precious relationships is to marry yes and no. Or as St. Oprah would say, you can never really say yes until you learn to say no. Psyche's embrace of masculine traits, learning to make choices, wield power well, achieve goals, to say no is about growing up. But to be clear, Psyche would have never undertaken her hero's journey, risking everything, had it not been for her love of Eros. I discovered my dream of working on Wall Street as I supported my husband's pursuit of a graduate degree. I discovered my dream of writing a book as I encouraged others to dream. In no way is feminine psychological development a rejection of our feminine selves. In fact, it's a reminder that to find our true path in life, we must embrace the feminine while being open to the masculine. Society doesn't typically require men to choose between being a ship in a harbor. The first priority for men is typically to be a ship. And the more a man can delegate the harbor aspect to someone else, a wife or a secretary, the better. But because women simultaneously feel the tug of our ship of dreams while trying to keep one foot grounded on the dock of family life, our choices can often feel Solomonic. Our conflicting feelings of ambition and loyalty contribute to the tremendously destructive "you can't have it all" wars. It's a false paradigm that allows us, no, it actually seduces us, we as women, to avoid the dreaming required to become a complete woman who knows how to love and wield power to be both a harbor and a ship. When we dream, we grow up. When we dare, we become the hero of our story. And when we do, remarkable things can happen. Thank you.